who have had their lives torn apart by an earthquake.
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Speaker, I rise to support this legislation, which has gone through a tremendous amount of scrutiny since the review of the Building Act carried out in roughly 2009, flowing on to 2010. It's worth noting that the construction sector is a critical player in the New Zealand economy. It's the fifth largest sector in New Zealand. It employs 174,000 people, which equates to about, somewhere between roughly 7, 8, 9% of the workforce overall. Contributes to about 4% of the GDP. Employs large numbers of Māori, and lots of those, of course, leaving school and looking to upgrade their skills in that very sector. So it's not surprising that a sector employing so many, working so hard in this country and contributing so much to our GDP, that there wouldn't be a few, if you like, quote, cowboys out there. And the idea of this legislation is to reform the building rules such that they build right the first time. New Zealand, in some senses and in some parts of the country and with some building companies, has been seen as somewhat of a wild west historically, and of course that must stop, because although we talk about the very high level figures for New Zealand, the reality is if it was just one home that was built in New Zealand by one builder contributing very little to GDP to that particular family, it's a complete tragedy if their largest and most valuable asset actually crumbles underneath them and they're left essentially with big bills to pay on top of a mortgage. So this legislation will ensure homeowners can make informed decisions about their homes and who builds their homes. And improvements to productivity, efficiency and accountability can only be achieved if building work is designed and constructed right the first time and meets the requirements of the building code. So this review did find an over-reliance on building consent authorities. It is important that we do have the monitoring and the policing and of course the accountability that comes from that. But the reality is we want to trust the builder in the first place to give good advice and do an excellent job on site. So the changes will enforce in law what is already best practice in the industry. The majority of builders have already behaved professionally, have nothing to fear whatsoever, but the cowboys do, and that is a good thing, and I'm sure this House agrees. The major change is that homeowners will be better able to identify between a professional and those who are lax in their work. And of course the drawing up of contracts, the obligations on builders to provide some sort of transparency on their business and what they're going to give, I guess, to their clients has been fully opened up. Mr Speaker, I commend this bill to the House. It's taken a long work by this Parliament and the Minister to pay attention to detail. I congratulate the Select Committee on their work and I commend it to the Parliament.
Paul Raymond Ho.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Labor supports the Building Act review.